From the snow-capped peaks of Cortina to the pulsing heart of Milan, the world has arrived, and the bench is officially empty. Welcome to Olympics from the Bench. Here we go beyond the primetime tape delay and the polished medal counts to bring you the real grit of the Winter Games. We're talking the locker room drama, the underdog heartbreak, and the ice-cold tactical breakdowns that you won't find anywhere else. Whether the return of the pros to the Olympic ice arena or the chaotic debut of ski mountaineering, we're covering every inch of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games with the humanity, curiosity, and the occasional hot take that only ETB can provide you. And now, here's your host, Callan McClurg. And hello, everybody. It is officially the final whistle. We weren't here for all 18 days. We were damn sure close enough, though. This is officially day 18 and officially the final episode of Olympics from the Bench right here on ETB. Callan McClurg joining you folks here on a late night Tuesday into an early morning Wednesday over on the East Coast. We have spent the better part of the last 2 weeks in the Saharan dust of the Dolomites and the thin air of the Mediterranean Forum. And we have seen Ilya Malinin defy gravity, Chloe Kim cement a dynasty, and Jordan Stoltz redefine what it means to be a Wisconsin speed demon. And tonight we not only recap the final medals, but also eulogize games that prove that even with a norovirus scare and red snow, the spirit of the Winter Games is indestructible. Again, everybody, this is our official recap, bow on top, final cherry on top, the grand exit of the Olympics from the Bench pop-up series here for the next roughly 28 minutes or change here. We will recap some of our big stories, our big events of the tournament and of the games, and also, of course, talk more about some of the big names that, of course, were involved with the ongoing Milan-Cortina Olympics. Obviously, we were here for a good majority of the days, but again, work caught up to me, though. Timing caught up to me, though, as well. My health kind of, in a way, also got put on the bench for a bit, literally and figuratively, though. Been battling a very interesting allergy-related cold over the past couple days. But we are here, though, to hopefully give you a bit of a nice little recap of what, of course, we saw go down over in the Milan-Cortina Olympic Games over the course of the last 18 days that we had sat through all the events in some capacity as time has gone on. Of course, you can follow us, folks, on social media. We are always live over at ETB Network on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and also, of course, at youtube.com/ETB Network, where, of course, you can go and subscribe and help us get to the 4,000 watch hour goal. All right, game, let's go and talk about some of the Mount Rushmore athletes of the course of the Olympic Games here. We're here till about 11:55, 12 a.m. Pacific time here, and close to 3 a.m. on the East Coast. Let's go and look at some of the 4 or 5 big athletes of the event, though, that we'll get to here. Let's start, though, of course, folks, with Jordan Stoltz and Chloe Kim of Team USA. Stoltz leaves Italy as the most decorated individual of the games with 3 gold medals, while Chloe Kim leaves as the undisputed GOAT of the halfpipe. You know, I know that a lot of people had been saying, though, that Jordan Stoltz might be the modern-day version of Eric Heiden. Now, Eric Heiden, of course, I think won 5 medals in 80. And that was also, you know, on a frozen rink outside of the Lake Placid High School outdoors that he, of course, competed in, though. And that I sometimes wonder, though, a lot of times when we compare a lot of the modern-day athletes, as we probably have seen, I would probably go back to Phelps probably in 04 and 08, for example. When it comes to the Mark Spitz ghost or the Eric Heiden ghost with Jordan Stoltz, the pressure gets so ramped up, I think, on these competitors as they try, though, to, of course, go and pursue that record, though. And again, Jordan Stoltz, though, wins 3 golds. I don't think he would have gotten to 5. I think he would have gotten to 4 maybe it may have perhaps had a chance to maybe tie Hayden, but not close enough. And of course, Chloe Kim still is the GOAT of the half pipe, though, winning silver in her events, though. And really, Jordan Stoltz, Chloe Kim, probably two of the best, I'd say, for what we had seen, though, in certain events for the top spot right now in our group. Also, number 2 option is Franjo von Eilman of Switzerland, where, again, this was somebody who, again, had been on the radar for certain events. And I think that, and I forget the exact number, though, but was really the big name. And obviously, we all, in a way, had known this is not really a Olympic Games that Team USA can dominate because of the events that, of course, have, that did take place, but also this is kind of, in a way, Europe, Switzerland, Norway, the Netherlands, in a way, where it's more of their Olympic Games. But even then, we'll talk more about how great Team USA did, though, perform, though, in the events here momentarily. How about Michaela Schifrin? Coming back, though, off of the redemption arc, though. Now, of course, we had, in a way, talked a lot about the comeback of Lindsey Vonn. Michaela Schifrin was kind of, in a way, under the radar because myself, probably you out there too, we got a little bit too, I think, fixated. And maybe I'm partially to blame, though, early on, though, when we were doing OFTB about Vonn coming back, the injury. Hey, go for it. As I have long been saying, though, here on this program, that in a way, we all in a way forgot about Michaela Schifrin. And I don't know if that was because about her not doing well early on in the Olympics, maybe even her last Olympic Games that had been going on, though, too, that she kind of in a way was under the radar for the whole entire Olympic Games. And I also wonder if that maybe in a way perhaps took some pressure off her, because we have really, though, I think seen in a way that has been really a big talking point, was that the pressure. And I think, though, that there was a very bogus story, I think, from awful announcing, trying to put blame on like NBC and the media for hyping up the athletes. I'm thinking more like sometimes it's self-sabotage when it comes to athletes putting pressure on themselves to compete, because they know very well you only get, you have to wait 4 more years now to now go back and compete in the French Alps coming up very soon. And that maybe with all the attention on Lindsey Vonn, did that allow Michaela Schifrin in her own mind to get the pressure off herself or not be so hard on herself, though, seeing sadly, though, of course, what Lindsey Vonn went through, that maybe that helped clear the mind of Michaela Schifrin. And again, she's right back on top, though, where she belongs. And also, how about the hometown hero of Sofia Goggia, the speed skating, the downhill gold winner. Italy, by the way, had probably one of the most significant, and I'd say the single best host nation performance I've seen for a Olympic Games in my entire life. I might be wrong, though, but how Italy was, again, they were, not top 3, but they were, in a way, though, all over the place, winning medals. Again, speed skating was, I think, the most, for me at least, the most emotional victory for the Italians, though, was winning that medal like day 2, day 3 in speed skating, where, again, that has been a heavily owned Dutch sport. Winning events, though, too, on the slopes, that's more of a Norwegian sport that they usually have gone and won, though. So Italy, I think, also deserves their flowers, though, too. All right, game, let's go to the medal count, though, to recap where the final totals had ended. Norway edges out Team USA by 1 total medal, 14 golds for Norway, 9 silvers, 10 bronze for 33 total. Team USA, 12 golds, 11 silvers, and 9 bronze medals, 32 in total for Team USA. Germany at number 3, 10, 7, and 8 for 25. Italy, 9, 10, and 12 for 31. And the Swiss national team, 8, 5, and 6 for 19. Team USA, though, as I said, though, this is easily their best Olympic performance, though, for the Winter Games by the gold count in 24 years, dating back to when it was here in 2002 in Salt Lake City, 1 short of Norway's cross-country fueled lead. And again, Italy finishes 3rd in total medals, a massive win for the host nations funding programs where, Italy, great host. The storylines that they had, though, too, with their athletes, simply incredible, though, where they finish 3rd in the total medal count, though, with 31 by total. But again, Team USA finishes in number 2 with 12 golds. And again, as we had said in a way on the lounge on Monday, 63%, if not more, of the golds were won by female athletes over in Milan-Cortina this year. Of course, the other big story, though, as well, though, gang, it's got to be hockey. Team USA versus Canada women's game, and the men also playing Canada as well. Team USA women finish off their impressive dominant role, going perfectly unbeaten, as did the men, though. But more importantly, they win the game, though, thanks to a Hillary Knight game-time goal with 2:04 to play in regulation time, and Megan Keller scoring roughly 6 minutes into the overtime period to give Team USA their first gold medal since 2018 or 2019 in Pyeongchang, South Korea. But more importantly, Aaron Frankel, 42 saves, and again had that massive shutout streak going on, though, and Team USA throttled their opponents by a 35-2 final score in combined scoring in those games across their unbeaten streak. And of course, on Sunday morning, Team USA men break their 46-year drought of winning gold with Jack Hughes, despite the broken teeth suffered with that high stick. Again, they also win gold again for the first time since the 80 Miracle on Ice team did so when they defeated the Soviet Union for that semifinal game that, of course, beat Finland. But again, NHL best versus NHL best. Team USA 2, Canada 1 with Jack Hughes with that game-winning goal, setting off a massive explosion of jubilation for a men's hockey team here across the country. Obviously, as I have said, though, folks, I said this on Monday, and kind of in a roundabout way throughout the course of the tournament, I was a bit more focused on the women's tournament, and it's not because of what you might think, though, but I was more intrigued by the women's tournament due to the nature of Hillary Knight retiring. Again, I wrote this on Substack about Hillary with the game-tying goal, her career, meeting her in 2018, the ambassador that she's been, though, but also what she's meant for Team USA hockey. I would say men's and women's combined again with the last 20 years from a teenager playing in 2006 till now here being in, age 35, age 36. And as I kind of wrote, though, in the Substack, very much, talking about Knight's career, that is a, patent pending trademark copyrighted goal that Hillary Knight scores almost any given day of the week and twice on Sunday. Right in front of the net, tips in the point shot. And then for Megan Keller, by the way, one of her longtime teammates, with the national team, though, to take the pass from Taylor Heisey, who, by the way, Taylor Heisey is not getting enough love and credit, though, for that pass. She's been, much like, Michaela Schifrin, Taylor Heisey deserves her own batch of flowers to make that pass, to stretch it from the goal line to the Canadian blue line, and have Megan Keller, who's a defender, not usually a forward, who goes and attacks, and Keller makes the beautiful deke, goes around the defender and backhands a perfect shot past on Renee Desbiens for the game winner, and the jubilation. And again, this is a team, though, folks, who has won a medal of some type in the last 5 games, but has medaled, though, in every women's hockey event since 1998. And this may have been the most dominant run that we've seen a women's hockey team have for Team USA. Better than 98, even better than probably the 2018 or 2019 team that obviously won gold in the shootout over Canada, where again, that was, I think the high point of the women's rivalry. And believe me, it still is, though. But as I had also kind of in a way said, though, here on OFTB and even on Monday on the lounge, I had been kind of wondering aloud recently with how the USA women's hockey program had simply blown the doors off the Canadian national team for 7 or 8 straight games, dating back to the rivalry series before they even went to the Olympic tournament. There was a 10-4 victory in there for Team USA. There was, a 5-0 win, and that's what went to my point, though, too. Okay, they didn't have Marie-Philippe Poulin. I didn't want to hear excuses. If they both got to the final and MPP for some reason didn't play, that, well, the Americans only won the game because Marie-Philippe didn't play. Well, she played and got shut out. No goals and no assists. More importantly, as I said, though, on Monday, the first time she's not scored in a gold medal game in the last 3 games. The only goal they got was a Kristen O'Neill shorthanded goal on a very much weird bounce that cleared away from Layla Edwards at the top of the point on the right wing side. and they went in 2-on-1. And it was, by the way, though, it was a great pass by Laura Stacey to Kristen O'Neill to make the shot and break the shutout streak, though. And then, as I was saying, though, too, and again, this was in my Substack, you're watching this game if you're, a USA hockey fan like I am, and you're like, this is how we're going to lose the game. We're going to go on this magical run of shutting everybody out minus Czechia in the first game. So all of a sudden now we're going to lose 1-0 on a shorthanded goal in the second period until Hillary Knight ties the game. And then the high C pass to Keller with the deke, and then and scoring that goal. So again, and I'll be honest again, I was more intrigued by watching the women play than the men, because I have been telling people, if neither Canada nor Team USA gets to the final, that nation should be embarrassed if they did not get to the final. Now, on the men's side of things, I got up at 4:30 a.m. to watch the game. Me and my friend Matt Lehman had gone to Disneyland that, day/afternoon. We literally made the drive from San Diego to Anaheim from period 1 all the way to the end of the third period. By the time we got on the tram to go from the parking structure to the parks, Jack Hughes scored the game-winning goal, and we yelled and scared the whole tram, basically. And we had to apologize, saying, we just saw, the Team USA win the gold on the men's side. Connor Hellebuyck was a stud. And that was a thing, though, that I think Tom said on Monday. Johnny might have said, though, too, on MTGP on Thursday. If you know the NHL, Connor Hellebuyck is easily one of the top 5, top 10 goalies. It's a matter of when or which version of him will show up. This was about as perfect of a game as Connor Hellebuyck could have played. And I thought he played great, though, too, in the Four Nations tournament last year, too, for Team USA. But also, this game, though, was something else. This was a game, though, filled with, brutality, physical play, high sticks, all the face washing, the Kachuk brothers being goons out there. But also, I think what helped Team USA was jumping ahead, getting in front, scoring first, with Matt Boley with that great goal, though, chipping to himself, though, past the two defenders and beating Jordan Binnington. I felt that was going to be critical for Team USA. If they did not score first, the game may have been over. And I think that we said this on Monday on the lounge. Ben Cruz said, and I think Ben Cruz said this so perfectly, though, on Monday. The turning point of this game for me, and Ben agreed, the 5-on-3 Canadian power play. You've got Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Macklin Celebrini. You've got 5 lethal players as the top power play unit for Canada. And there's 2 penalties taken. And I'm wondering, this is where it ends right here. With that unit, 2 shots on goal for 3.5 minutes of power play time. And of course, the parting shot of Nathan McKinnon on the left wing side with the gaping net, and he fires it wide. And then, of course, the Devon Taves play where Connor Hellebuyck is out of position. He reaches back, paddles the goal stick, and knocks the puck off of his stick to knock it wide. That was Canada's game to win. Canada should have won both these games. They really should have. And yet, though, Team USA celebrating their 3rd gold medal on both sides, 60, 80, and 26 now for the men. And, of course, women now with 98, 18, and 26. But, again, I was more invested by watching the women to watch the ending of Hillary Knight's career for the international side. Now, again, the whole we'll see thing with Cap and Tappan's one thing. But I was more invested, though, about watching that tournament and that side of things, though, than the men. Because the USA women's roster, their makeup and their build, I felt that they were ahead of everybody else. To my other point, though, too, my main thing about the difference between Canada and Team USA on the women's side, Team USA went the veteran route with a lot of young kids like Abby Murphy's, Taylor Heise's, and Layla Edwards, Joy Dunn's, where I don't really know if Canada went the route of the younger leg younger legs or the younger ages? Did they keep the old horses around for one more run and not look at what Team USA did, though, by going more of the collegiate route, rookie route with those veterans like a Knight and a Keller, a Steckline, for example, a Kelly Panic? That's where I think the game was won and lost in a way. The whole tournament was the depth of both teams. I might be wrong, though. I think, though, when you have so many new, fresh faces on the roster, like what we saw with the women's team for Team USA, that's what got them over the hump, I think, as opposed to what Canada was doing, though, with their roster. Another moment of the game, I got to go with Jessie Diggins. It wasn't a gold medal moment, but a bronze in the 10K Classic. A classic image, though, of Jessie Diggins collapsing in the slush, unable to move in, her lungs screaming, giving every literal molecule of her being to the snow. This is what the bench is all about. Of course, I think Jessie Diggins won a lot of people over during the last games in 2022 because of how that the cross-country skiing, though, event, talk about a war of endurance. And we obviously remember the image of her in Beijing winning it and how she just utterly collapsed at the finish line, winning the race. And that is one event, though, that is just crazy to think about how far that has gone over the past couple of months or weeks here. I think I would also probably say I'd go with the bobsled. I mean, Elena Myers-Taylor, Callie Humphreys, especially EMT, Elena Myers-Taylor. So close, so many times over, and not getting and just having that one box to check on the resume. And it finally happened this year at the age of 41. We know Elena Myers-Taylor, though, for the monobod or the, team bobsled. But there was just that one unchecked box. And she finally got it after I think she gave birth. She thought about retiring. And also, there's a few other athletes, though, too. And we've kind of forgotten them, sadly. The Blade Angels. I mean, finally, American figure skating is back on the map, finally, thanks to Alyssa Liu, Amber Glenn, and Isabu as well. I mean, they broke, the Sarah Hughes drought of 2002 or 2006. American figure skating back on the map. Madison Chalk, Evan Bates. May have gotten host a couple of times when it came to scoring. Man, they were fun. Ilya's going to be fine coming up in 4 years. I mean, like I said, the pressure of being there first time, overwhelming. Jordan Stoltz. I mean, so many great stories have come out of these games, as they usually do. Between Jessie Diggins. I think that probably I'd say like the other events, though, that really came to mind. We talked at length about Corey Ticey and Corey Dropkin with mixed doubles curling early on. I mean, I don't know, though, how, and I love it, about how we get so damn captivated by curling every 4 years. The men's side, women's side, mixed doubles, of course. I mean, just simply, though, again, a very much banner year for Team USA. For as I had said, though, folks, for a Olympic game that we really, or for a Olympic Games that we really do okay in, but we're not at the top usually with the winner. But what a great year, though, for Team USA, though, coming within, I think, one gold, I think I said. Best gold medal count in 24 years, dating back to 2002 in Salt Lake City. Tremendous year for Team USA. With that, folks, in mind, as the dual cauldrons in both Milan and Cortina flicker out, we don't say goodbye. We now just change venues. The Winter Games gave us the ice, but this summer we're taking the bench from the ice to the grass. Get ready, game, because coming up in June, we are returning back with more pop-up shows with Empty the Pitch. a similar show like this to cover the 2026 FIFA Men's World Cup. We will be live across North America from Mexico, Canada, and the USA, bringing you the same unfiltered, pun-heavy, deep dive coverage of the beautiful game starting in mid-June. To the athletes who left their blood on the ice and the fans who stayed up late with us until 3 a.m., thank you. Italy was beautiful, chaotic, and loud. And more importantly, we now move on and get ready to get back to the swing of things with Empty the Pitch coming up this June. I'm Callan McClurg, gang, and the bench is officially empty. We'll see you on the pitch this summer. Until next time, I thank you for hanging out with me for the last several days as we have recapped the 2026 Milan-Cortina Winter Olympics in Milan and Cortina, Italy, folks. Until next time, have a great night. And more importantly, ciao. Bye-bye.